Hey, what's going? Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. So this is the first time I've ever gone live on my phone, and it's kind of interesting because now my allergies are trying to kick up. So crazy. But any rate, so what I thought I would do is after my nose stops, decided to stop wanting to run. I thought I would get into how I actually pick which video I want to make. Hey, what's going on, One Dog Geek? So I'm just gonna show kind of how I go through some of my procedures for creating my video. What's up, Jamil? And so I am in my fancy schmancy studio, aka my my family room. And so let me turn this around and I'll show you kind of how this kind of plays out. So these are my cameras. I've already downloaded the footage onto my external hard drive. And if you have an Apple, and if you're wondering like how that happens, one of the things that I use is this cord here. This goes into my computer, and then I put this into my cameras. Now I'm gonna actually turn my computer on here, and I've gotten a couple questions about like what software I use. I use Final Cut Pro. The only reason why I use that software is because that's just kind of what I saw when I first started doing YouTube. So 1 second, I'm going to put my password in, and you can't see that. So let me go ahead and do that. Uh, so we can get this baby cooking. Um, the other thing I wanted to share, one of the things that I do is I have my production notebook. See how fancy that is? And so I use this to keep track of all of the different um, videos that I'm going to make. So, for instance, you guys are going to see, and this is actually kind of a sneak peek, but on February 16th, I'm going to be flying a complex airplane. So I date these things and I do these little circles because that's what I say, okay, that's going to be the next video I'm going to produce. And then once I produce it, I check the box, and then that way I know, or check the little circle, and that way I know what yeah, my chicken scratch. I know the handwriting is pretty bad. So I know that, I've produced that video. And so as you can see, in the 2.5 years that I've been doing this, these are all the different videos that I produced. And once I produce them, I scratch them out. So, but that's not what we're here to do. We're here to decide which video I'm going to do. So I am going to do, I wrote this flight to Northeast Philadelphia Airport. I think that's the next video that I want to make. So I'll put this little dot. I know that that's what I'm going to do. And then, of course, I have my production schedule calendar that I use. Hey, what's going on, Andrew Figueroa? Add that to the note with collab with collab with One Dog Geek, definitely. And so, all right, so I am in, and I'm going to click on this Final Cut Pro, and it'll start bouncing. It'll come on up. Now, one of the things that I will say that I found that has been very helpful for all of you aviation YouTube video production, I'm going to give you one of my like production secrets. If I do a flight, I do a flight to an airport and I do a flight from an airport, right? So those are two videos. So that way, with one flight, I'll get two videos. Now, if I go to a place, if I have lunch, and I explore a place, then sometimes what I'll do is I'll have three videos. Because look, Here's the deal. I love producing videos. Um, I love, you know, um, you know, doing as many videos as possible. And, from that standpoint, it's great. But these flights get to be expensive. And, if you do one flight per video, it adds a lot of production pressure. Number one, because you're not going to be flying every week. And if you want to do a flight video every week, it just is not sustainable because you're going to have weather, you're going to have the airplanes breaking down, all of that kind of stuff. So yes, Andy, thank you for watching. And so that's one of the secrets that I found out. Now I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning, I was doing one flight, one video, and I just realized that that was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I wasn't kind of enjoying either the flying or the journey because it was putting pressure on me to hurry up and fly. And sometimes I was going to fly in, questionable things. So here's what I'm going to say for even the people who don't do aviation videos: find a way to batch produce your videos. By that, I mean, when you're going to be filming videos, do multiple videos in a filming session. So there'll be times where I'll go to Wings Field and you'll see a talking heads video. Well, I've produced that video, two flight videos, and maybe two talking head videos all on the same day. That way, now I have four videos on my little GoPro, that when I download that footage, I have now the opportunity for four videos. So you can see what that ends up doing is I end up in a situation where I have four videos one week, I produce one, but then I might do another two videos the next week. Now I have six. And so I always have to suggest that if you're a YouTuber of any ilk and you're in any situation where you're producing videos, batch produce them. That'll take the pressure off. You'll enjoy it more. And if weeks go by and you don't do the thing for which you are creating your videos, that'll be quite all right because you'll have footage in the can that you'll be able to use. All right. So this is now up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to file. We're going to do a new project. And believe it or not, come on. Come on. See this thing. See all my fancy production stuff, all my production skills. This thing is really tripping. Okay, come on. New. Dude, what the hell? I want a new project. There we go. There we go. Cool. And and it's going to ask me the title. So I am going to call this. Now I can't hold this phone and type. I'm sorry. So you're going to have to see my ugly mug for a second. So this one, as I have in my notebook, you'll see here, this is the next flight. So flight to Northeast Philly Airport. And sometimes I'll play around with the topic and stuff like that. So we'll say, you know, heading. No, 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 no. Let's do amazing flight back to Northeast Philly Airport. Now, sometimes I'll have this written down and I'll, type it in. And as I type it in, sometimes I'm like, that kind of sucks. Sometimes I even come back to it. So yeah. All right. So now I'm ready for my project. All right. So now I've got my library in here and I'm looking for that footage. Now, one thing I will say about um, you know, any software that you use to edit your videos, every now and then go into a YouTube channel to learn kind of like a new editing skill. What that'll do is that'll help you with your production. All right, so here's this line. I know that this 1184.5 is the next video. So you'll see me turn my cameras on.
What's going on, good people? Welcome, Russ can fly. Woo. Time to go back to Northeast Philly. Let's go.
All right, so that's my intro. All right, so let's go and play that again. And I'll turn this up just in case you need to hear it.
Hey, what's going?
Okay, so that's where I'm going to start.
Hey, hey, what?
And I don't want to waste any time because I don't want any dead spaces. All right, so I'm going to come to the scissors here. And let's go ahead and blade this. And I'll just do a little bit of this, but I just wanted to share. This is what I do in the evenings. I mean, this is my production. All right, so we've got that.
Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome,
Russ can fly.
Woo. Time to go back to Northeast Philly. Let's go.
All right, so here I'm going to bring this down because I know this is the clip that I want. Now, sometimes it'll give me this weird thing because my settings are kind of strange. But I'm just going to go ahead. I want that 60p because I want that to be nice and clear. All right, so let's go back. So I don't want this. And you can see it's playing on the timeline.
Hey,
Okay, nope.
hey.
Nope. All right. And one things I've noticed is I've gotten really good at watching myself. So I have this habit of like during this, you know, do you shoot in 4K? One Dog Geek, absolutely not. The reason why I don't shoot in 4K is because when you connect these cameras, or at least my experience has been, when I connect these cameras to the computer and it's downloading onto this external hard drive, that takes forever. So 1080p seems to be just fine. And all the videos that you see on my YouTube channel, they're all 1080p. Now, there are times where I will use this Hero GoPro here. It's an 8. I actually don't like this camera. My favorite camera, if I could get 10 of these, I would. This series of the GoPros, the 7, bulletproof. I mean, it works well with all the editing software. It loads very good. But sometimes I will shoot in 4K with this. This is my overhead camera that I use. Every now and then I'll do a shot where I'll do that in 4K. But I really don't notice any huge difference in quality between 1080p. And so, how many cameras do I use? Here they are right here. This was my first one, this Hero Silver. It is not bad. It is hardy, but it definitely, great battery life, but I think it just lacks some pizzazz that the blacks use. So I have this Silver 7, this Hero 7, and this Hero 8. This goes upside down in the back. That's the overhead shot. This is what I use for sound. This is usually pointing forward, so looking out the windscreen, and this is the one that's usually pointed to me. So that's this shot. That's what this camera is doing. And as you can see, if you look here, that camera here, that's this one right here. All right. And then if you look here, that's the overhead shot. That's this camera. All right. Okay. So just a little bit more, and I'm going to let you guys have your evening back. But, I always try to be as transparent as I can be on this channel. And, sometimes people may wonder, am I using an editor? No, I am the editor. Am I using some production company? No, it's just me. And to be honest with you, I kind of like it that way. I want to keep creative control. Yes, the videos would probably be more polished if I used an editor and all that kind of stuff. But that's just not my style. I like to, if they're funky, if there's sound issues, they're clunky. I don't do these great jump cuts and all that kind of stuff. I'm fine with that. Does your forward-facing camera, the one that captures audio, ever overheat because it's in the sun? Absolutely yes. And one of the things I've found out is I have this technical equipment that I use to try to keep that from happening. And basically, what I do is I take a piece of paper from this notebook, and I know you've seen it, and I just tint it right over the camera. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I will wait. So let me flip this screen again. And these are great questions. And certainly, if you have any others, keep them coming. Um, I will sometimes basically have this camera, I will wait until I am ready to go before I put that camera up, because I know that that is probably going to overheat because it's in the sun. A lot of times, if I need to, I'll just use that camera, or I'll use the one that faces me, that Hero 7 Silver. That one is less prone to overheat. And then I'll just talk kind of loud in the cockpit that these two cameras are picking up the sound. And sometimes I'll link their sounds together while I'm editing. Glenn Watson, I've been finding a GoPro clone. The Insta 360 is one better, one lack overheating from myself. Yeah. Um, and have you ever considered any of the 360 cameras? I haven't. So is this Patelevision? I don't know how those work. Um, and to be honest with you, I don't like the way that looks. Now, I will say this. I will probably think about getting a 360 when I have access to an aircraft where I can mount a camera outside. Because one of the things I'd like to do is be able to get a takeoff shot where you see the plane taking off going forward, but then rotate it and you can see the plane lifting off from the one way to the back. That I think would be a cool shot for 360. But I see a lot of people do these 360 shots in the cockpit. I just don't like them. But who knows, um, you know, once I finish this college tuition, maybe I'll get a camera and try that out. So yeah, so I haven't done that yet. Um, GA Evangelist, greetings from Jacksonville. Hey, how you doing? All right, so let's get back. So we got just a couple more minutes. So I'm just gonna do the intro here. So I'm gonna cut this, and then I'm gonna play this.
Welcome, Russ can fly. Woo. Time to go back to Northeast Philly. Let's go.
Now, if you see, I basically, when I do that, I'm cueing myself so I'll know where to make this cut. And so that's the one thing I will say. When you're on the ground, give yourself an opportunity to know where you're going to have to make these cuts. And so that's why a lot of times you'll hear me laugh, or sometimes I do crack myself up. So sometimes it's not just production, but as you can see here,
Fly. Woo. Time to go back to Northeast Philly.
let's
Let's
go.
go.
Cut. All right. And so that's just one of those things that I do just to make you want to do anything you can to make editing easier. And the more you can kind of cue yourself and like link stuff, the better. All right. And so that's the beginning part. Now, then what I do, how do you handle hearing your own voice? I can't stand editing because I have to hear myself. I can't stand it. I mean, I don't. Is there people out there who like hearing themselves? I don't know. I mean, the one thing I hate about editing, especially when I have the final videos, they having to watch the whole video, and I'm like, you sound like such a tool. I mean, I have to admit, it's like, who do you think you are? Like, and why do people want to listen to this Mr. Magoo esque type voice? And for some of you, I'm probably dating myself because you need to know who Mr. Magoo is. Um, so yeah, so no, Glenn, it's not something that I relish. All right, and let me see. But television, I've seen people use the 360 cam to get wide shots, but then edit them to show normal view. This way, use the 360 cam to get multiple angles. That's a good point. And I will say, I'm 2.5 years into this. this or three, I forget how many years I've been at this, but suffice it to say, I'm still learning about equipment and stuff. So I'm trying to slow walk. So I may get there. All right. So now here's another editing hack. All right. So I know that how my videos go where I say, oh, once the Russ can fly, I'm gonna do, and then you see my, my standard entrance in terms of the airplane taking off. So what I do is I always keep another library open so I can go back to a previously edited video. And then I can click on that video, open that one up, and then see how. So this is, what is this? Oh, I forget which video this is, but this is a video that I previously made. And once this comes up, you'll see it come up. It's
Hey,
spinning.
people, welcome to Russ Can Fly. It's another day to fly and have some fun.
All right, so that's what I want, right? And I don't want to have to keep trying to like reproduce that. Basically, I've gone into that produced video, I cut and paste, edit, copy, and then I go back to the video that I'm making and I just paste that in there. Edit, paste, and see, there it is. And so here's my intro.
Russ Can Fly. Woo. Time to go back to Northeast Philly. Let's go.
And you see, just like that, within the minutes that I've been here, I've got my intro. Strict Stays Focus. What up, Russ? Can you list again the cameras you use because my old GoPro is terrible now? Okay, we'll do. So I have a Hero Silver 7. And the reason why most of my cameras are 7 because I bought them all at the same time. And then I have a Hero Black 7. I will say that if you can get your hands on, I know it's like they're what GoPro's up to like 14 or something now. This camera, I mean, absolutely amazing. It is bulletproof. It does the sound well when it wants to stay on and not overheat and have all of those weird GoPro issues. But definitely a favorite of mine. And then I have this Hero Black, and I think this is an 8. Yeah, it's a Hero Black 8. Now, this one just does very well because a lot of times I have this upside down, and it has just seemed to have learned that, he's doing these upside down. So when I pull the video in, I don't have to flip it in Final Cut Pro. It just seems to figure it out. But it doesn't play nice with this connection. So when I take the footage from here, I use this cord. This goes into the computer, and then this is just a regular charge cord for the GoPros. And then this goes in the side here, and then I put this in the GoPro, and then I just download the footage, and all the footage goes on this 1 terabyte external hard drive. When I first started, I was eating up the memory on this because these files are huge. So those are the 3 cameras that and so as I go through this, then you can see here is the various streams. So this is the stream for the camera looking forward. This is the stream that has the sound, and this is the one that just kind of faces out. And then apparently, unfortunately, on this video that I'm editing, this camera, for whatever reason, it 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 gets moody, and sometimes it'll think it's on, the light is on, and it's blinking, but it's not recording. So sometimes I just don't get that footage. And one of the things that I make sure I do is once I set these cameras, I'm done. Yeah, not a problem. Strict stay focused. So that's my high level production. So I continue to kind of bring this stuff down and just edit as I go through. And that's pretty much it. Now, this video, as you can see, is there's a slash between bad weather and this flight back to Northeast Philly. This flight was one flight. The flight kind of sucked. The weather deteriorated horribly. And like I said, one of the cameras died. But that's what I'm producing because I'm just trying to show this isn't a polished thing. It is a crazy world. So yes, you're gonna see some of these YouTube channels where they're polished and it's great. M0A, the dude that flies 901, his name is escaping me right now. And some of those other folks that we're trying to be like when we grow up, their production values are great and I take nothing away from them. But listen, I like seeing videos from One Dog Geek, and just kind of his style, his version. And so if you you do a flight and you get anything, use that video, use that footage. I mean, if there's no sound, talk through it. Don't waste any footage because one of the things that I've come to appreciate is, the foibles of trying to do this YouTube thing. And of course, the most important thing is, yes, I want these to be entertaining, but I also want you to see, yeah, my cameras are acting up. But man, when I was doing my flight planning for this particular videos that I'm producing, the ceilings were just not cooperating. So learning hard and fast lessons about TAFs and ATIS and the weather reports you get from WX Brief and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes they just get it wrong. And those ceilings that were supposed to be going from 4,300 feet up to about 6,500 feet, it was completely opposite of what happened because as I'm flying, the ceilings are descending. And so people could say, well, look, you should have done better flight planning. Well, I did. It's just one of those things where the weather decided not to cooperate. So I don't want to not show that, even though, some of the videos don't show up right. So don't do yourself a favor. If you take the time, even if you're not an aviation producer or whatever. If you produce a video, even if this isn't the best one and it might not get as many views, it might listen, you get 2 or 3 views from people who really enjoy your channel, you've won, right? And you've put content out there that your peeps enjoy. So don't worry about it. Turn my money into noise. Those guys have full production crews as opposed to a single guy like yourself. You do a good job, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so that's why I wanted to kind of do this to kind of show you who I am, how I do what I do. And I couldn't think of a way to do this, with my cameras and show you the cameras other than just to do this live thing. So Hunter Zimmerman, ever fly to Gettysburg? I just went there today, even with 14 knot winds earlier. That sounds like that was pretty sporty. Yeah, GA Evangelist agrees. Show your mistakes. I prefer channels like yours where you interact. Yeah, that's what this is all about. It's about building community and kind of showing how we do what we do. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on here. Live was the best way I could think to, kind of do it. Usually when I do lives, I try to announce, but I just had this idea. These ideas just pop into my head. And I just wanted to show, I wanted to encourage my other aviation YouTubers that you don't have to have the fanciest stuff or whatever. You can see that, my production stuff is pretty low. Yes, I bought this computer about 3 years ago or 2 years ago when I started this journey. This is the most expensive part of my equipment other than my cameras. That's pretty much it. Really, my money went into, my headphones, the flight bag, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, so yeah, need to grab lunch. Go ahead and get a grub, Glenn. Thank you for your support, man. It's always appreciated. But yeah, just make yourself a list and do yourself a favor. Batch produce. That way you can take the pressure off of yourself and you can, serve all of us. All right. So with that, I thank you guys who came to watch this last minute live stream. I hope you got something out of it. Certainly, if there's any questions or you have any follow up questions, let me know. And certainly, listen, we're all part of this community. If there's anything that you would like to see me do or talk about, let me know. If you saw that one video I did about how to rent airplanes, I did that video because one of the subscribers said, "Hey Russ, I'm new. I'm getting ready to get my PPL, but I'm worried about this renting aircraft thing. How does that work?" And I said, "You know what? Thank you for that question. I will, make that video." So, thank you guys for the support. I love the interaction. I love the support. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening or afternoon or whatever your time zone dictates. All right, Russ can fly. I'm out. Take care. Peace.